man, the field is yours.
All right, thank you, Jar of Jam. We are underway with our upper bracket finals. Again, best of 5 to put somebody one match win away from claiming the inaugural EMEA Intel World Open Championship.
And it's important you say that, only one match win, because remember, you come through the lower bracket, you have to get the bracket reset, and France, what a way to start with Alpha in the first 20 seconds.
Alpha 54 getting it going after the initial shot set up by KDOP. 1-0 to the French as they continue this wave of momentum into the upper finals.
And it is a momentum wave that these guys are riding. We talked about the close series that Netherlands had yesterday with France, but they've been sitting there for an entire series, Stacks. They've been sitting watching France take on Norway. So they want to start things off, a hot start for themselves. Tho gets blocked out by Alpha on this one. Now Ole looking to regain a bit of possession here, a little bit of momentum. But France, like we've been saying, they look on championship form. There's not going to be a lot of stopping these guys right now.
No team coming into today average more saves, not just per game. Of course, that'd be inflated by their massive overtimes, but also per 5 minutes, which is a great stat now that Octane provides for us. Per 5 minutes, upwards of 6 saves per game. KDOP will drop another in. They could have used one of those saves here, as they just cannot stop France.
You can't stop the KDOP as well. There's read that perfectly, and you see Tho and Ole just in no man's land completely, backflipping to oblivion, not able to get the touch. And finally, KDOP is the one to get the touchdown. 2-0 France in quick fashion. If Netherlands want to stay in this game here, Stacks, they need to score quickly, because if France start racking up the score, there's not going to be a lot of comeback for them.
KDOP looking oh so comfortable now, even deep in the corner against a team that gave them a lot of trouble yesterday in the group stage. Netherlands don't have a chance here. Alpha wins the race with KDOP to pick up his second.
Oh, what happens here? Mike Boy's just scrambled on that wall, doesn't know where he's going. And then before as soon as he realizes, oh, I actually need to go back to net, it's way past him. And France get a freebie. Not even 2 minutes into this one, Stacks, and France just look so deadly right now. Or is it a case of that, or is it a case of the Netherlands just not looking like themselves?
I think the answer is just simply
yes.
KDOP adds yet another, and his just gargantuan scoreline continues. Now Fairy Peak technically getting involved in the play as well, but it is all France on La Fête Nationale.
Oh, this is distraught for the Netherlands right now. They need to get back into a good headspace, because going 4-0 down in the first 2 minutes of a series that you, if you win, you're into the grand final with a series advantage. You don't want to be dropping to France right now. You got to be taking the wind out of their sails. It could be 5 if KDOP can find the angle, and of course he can. He's KDOP after all.
This is unreal. KDOP and France have a 5-0 lead. Remember, I don't think anybody, you go back to that series they played yesterday, all 2-1, then 1-0 at the end. France might outscore the Netherlands from that series in this game alone.
That's ridiculous. Hang on, let me do the math. So
you figure 2 of them were 2-1, so there's 4.
Carry the 1.
Couple losses, so there's 6. And then they didn't score in game 5.
Yeah, they traded.
There's KDOP again. I think they've scored as many as the Netherlands did against them that whole series.
Oh, that is heartbreaking. And obviously France going into that series against the Netherlands yesterday. Netherlands, we maybe expected it was going to be France and possibly Germany coming through. Netherlands came out and shocked a few people. But man, oh man, this has certainly put them back in their place in the series that Netherlands had a little bit earlier on. Against who did they play out? They've not played today, have they? No, they've not. Well, I'm talking rubbish. No, they have. Why have I not written this down? I'm a mess. I am an absolute mess right now.
Can we get Tylacto out here? Come on.
Get Tylacto.
He's given us a lot of great stats help in the background as well. Appreciate the help from Ty. He has been a great help for us all throughout the day, all throughout the week here at the Intel World Open. It's great to have had him out here for the tournament as K-Dop makes that save there. So yes, he can also play some defense to go with his 4 goals in this game. 5 is the highest from anybody in this tournament. Inferno, of course, against South Africa, as everybody shot and everybody scored for Norway yesterday during the group stage, and K-Dop not outside of his reach to top that.
And just going back to your point about the series yesterday, it was 6 goals by the Netherlands total. I've just done my maths. Because you had four in your wins, and then one in each of your losses before game 5. So that's 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. That's 6.
That's 6.
Counting with Craftman.
There you go.
The Star Podcast.
We're about to see 7 out of France. You can just feel it.
Oh, it's inevitable.
Oh, there's nobody home. You'll see
maybe
7
one
in this game, but it's going to be Mike Boy as he scores. Hey, he has had no shortage of strikes finding the net. He had 6 in the series earlier, and he's got his first of this one here.
Yes, he's got to get scoring boots on, does Mike Boy. Maybe not necessarily in this opening game, but certainly game number 2. You need to get some momentum back on your side. Just make sure France don't Brazil you here. That would take the wind out of your sails. With Ferry Peak, he might want to take that plane right to Rio de Janeiro. As Alpha again goes towards net. Although the Netherlands starting to get a little bit of life back into them. And I know this game is all said and done pretty much. But you got to keep your foot on the gas pedal. You don't want to let up. Don't let France have this confidence going throughout the rest of the series. And maybe just pick up a couple of goals here and there and get back into your scoring ways. Don't let Alpha score there, and he doesn't. Only able to save.
So with that goal from Mike Boy, the Netherlands avoid only their 3rd shutout of this tournament. 1 at the hands of France. And then at the hands of Great Britain. Only will add another. And if nothing else, you see the ball going to the net, so you know they're human, and you know you can score against them.
We've gone on about K-Dop's backboard defense all day. If you can challenge him on that backboard and just get that pinch into the goal, Netherlands will happily take that. 6-2. Won't be Brazil at the very least. That's the one thing they can take out of this one is Netherlands. They haven't been Brazil by France. For sure. Might have 7 scored against them, maybe even 3 for themselves, as Tho had the angle on that. Maybe Oli does it as well. Alpha will just deny, just to say, hey, no, you got to do better than that, Netherlands. You got to do better than that. 6-2 in game 1.
Much better. Up until this point, Netherlands had only given up 3 goals in a game. And France has doubled that. So yeah, France has found the answer to the Netherlands. K-Dop just has, look, yes, we're playing a video game. This is a video game stat line if I ever saw one. 4 goals from 7 shots, a couple of assists to go with it as well. He also had a save, just so, you know, he could actually play a little bit of defense.
Yeah, just so he didn't have zeros across the screen.
Right, yeah. The only 0 belongs to Alpha. Well, no, Alpha and Ferry Peak. Alpha with no assists, very selfish player, and Ferry Peak did not score. Slacker.
Slacking.
Yeah.
Gotta pick up the pace, Ferry Peak. Come on, you should have won that 14.
4 assists.
You should have had the double Brazil fit 14-2.
Yeah, right.
Come on, guys.
The way they started that game, they could have.
They really could have. And I think the biggest scoreline we've seen in the regionals for EMEA is 10-0, I think it was. 11-0. That was Norway against South Africa yesterday.
Yep.
Here in this one, yeah, it did happen. And Norway are thankful that happened because it got them to this point and put most of their players in the top 10 or the top 5 even of the stats page.
Well, now we shift gears to game 2, and Craftman, I wonder what the Netherlands have for an answer. I mean, we've seen constantly a team gets blown out in a game, especially at the start of a series, and then the team that won kind of falls into some bad habits. They're used to getting away with some things because, look, at 6-0. Are you really trying, especially in a playoff situation where goal differential doesn't come into play? So I wonder if maybe the Netherlands have lulled them into a false sense of security. France doesn't seem to be letting up at all.
It's the trap sweep. I'm calling it the trap sweep now.
The trap sweep.
If Netherlands can now win the next 3 in a row, it's the either the trap sweep or the false sense of security sweep. Okay, maybe Spaceman sweep is a little bit more.
It's yeah, it rolls off the tongue a little bit more.
A little bit. I'll work on it.
We like the alliteration of the Spaceman sweep.
I'll workshop it a little bit.
Okay.
I'll come back to you.
I expect a draft on my desk by tomorrow morning.
Do you have a desk?
I will find one.
You'll find one.
We got plenty of desks here at the studio. You can. We'll just make a little pit stop before we fly out.
I'll put it on your tray table. But well, the good thing for Netherlands in this one is that they're not 5-0 down in the first 2 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
They've been keeping. They've been weathering the storm quite well. Now Tho might even get the lead. Oh, bang off the crossbar. Now that's got to feel bad for Tho shooting from decent range there.
Yeah, that's one where you have the defense beat, and all they can do is just sit and watch. And very lucky that the shot sailed a little high off the crossbar, but France will take it. 3 minutes to go. It's a much closer game this time around. Netherlands putting up a fight, but for how much longer can they keep France off the scoreboard as the Netherlands on the attack? Only trying to turn this one in, and Kate up with a save, and he can catch this in stride, but Tho is right there to bring it right back in, not letting France relax one bit. Alpha with a save. Kate up is still a little far behind in the rotation, but he'll catch up, and that's a good stop out of Kate up. And France should be able to kind of stabilize here, and they do.
This is so much better from the Netherlands, though. You just felt that there was a lack of enthusiasm from the offense, as they were completely shut out and held back in the first couple of minutes of game number 1. Now it's more open and free-flowing, and they're loving this kind of style of play. Just trying to keep the ball away from France. That is their goal right now. But it is very back and forth at the moment. But Kate up here looking for the double touch. It does have it, but it's out to Fairy Peak, who sends it in with authority.
I'm sure Kate up will just be cursing that he could not put this one in, but he'll take it as Fairy Peak on the spot, able to follow up the play. 1-0 to France, outscoring the Netherlands 7-2 in the series.
And for Netherlands not to get the opening goal, they've got to feel so bad about that, because they had plenty of chances to take the opener, even in the early going as well. There was a couple of chances here and there. Good pass there by Ole, but just not the right angle for Mike Boy to put a threatening shot towards net. And Netherlands, like I said, they have been much better in this second game, getting a few more chances here and there. Maybe it was a false sense of security in the game number 1 for France.
So this bounces harmlessly into the Netherlands zone as they've got to find a way downfield quickly. Time is running out as K-Dop tried to fake out Ole, and Ole did a good job to stay with this play. Now Tho rolling one out to Mike Boy, but he can't stay with it. Tho's got to find a way around Fairy Peak, but he can't continue with the ball. And that's what's so great about a lot of Fairy Peak's challenges. He's okay with losing possession as long as you can't keep possession afterwards.
Netherlands now, of course, just want to play ball with France in their own half. Though, I thought he might have at least drawn a couple of more players out from France there, but France so patient in their rotations on this back line, and that has been their strength. Just playing so patiently and weathering the storm as it well as Tho goes over the top of K-Dop, but not an accurate shot. And if you're the Netherlands, you're hoping for a mistake from the France defense, but it's just not coming.
No, this is clinical out of France, and Netherlands have had very limited opportunities, and you see that shot from so far out. Nobody else has time to get downfield and get involved in the play, and now they're trying to rotate around. Fairy Peak actually ran into a Dutch defender, and the Netherlands will score here. Mike Boy, this bump by Ole I thought was actually going to help out because Fairy ran into Alpha.
Yeah, he just completely whiffed it. I mean, coming off the post like that, that's one of the toughest shots, or the toughest blocks, I should say, in Rocket League. Try to judge your launch position off of that back wall and just come across the face of the net. And this is Mike Boy, tough save to make, doesn't get to it. And Alpha, just as quickly as the Netherlands tie, France are back in front.
You do all that work over several minutes to try and get back into it, and then it goes away just like that. And now you only have 15 seconds to work with, or you're staring down match point. K-Dop wins that off the kickoff on the follow-up. Fairy Peak, all he can do is pop it up neutral. This is still a chance for the Netherlands. 5 seconds left. Oli and Mike Boy on the left side. Got the drive away.
Chance.
Here comes Snow to the eye, and the entire defense converges to slam shut the door, and it's 2-0 to France.
At that point, if you're France, you just see Tho coming out of nowhere like that. It's like, oh, Kent, just block the ball any way you can. And thankfully enough, for in the case of France, they do get the block. I think. Well, I see Fairy Peak and K-Dop credit. Maybe they all got credited with a save at the end. I would credit them all with the save at the end of that one. But for France, they've been tested a little bit more in that game, I would say. Netherlands got a couple of good opportunities, maybe didn't take full advantage of them, but they were asking the questions, and France were putting up the answers.
2-0 in the series now, as the Netherlands need to win 3 in a row. We were talking about them winning 3 in a row after dropping game 1. Much more inspired effort in game 2, but you have to reverse sweep this team.
Oh.
This team in particular.
Oh no.
Like,
oh no. This is not
not happen.
This is not the birthday Juicy wanted.
No.
This is not the present he wanted.
There are many more overtimes waiting for you, Juicy, in the lower bracket, I'm afraid. But the Netherlands are going to give it the old college try. We're underway in game 3. And K-Dop to Alpha, and if he hit that touch, it is 1-0.
And for a guy who didn't score at all in day 1, here in day 2, he has been a scoring machine.
He has.
And certainly playing a crucial role in this French squad. K-Dop and Fairy, though, they have been electric to watch as well. As the defense again for Netherlands, they just seem a little bit confused, a little bit wary about where this ball's going to go, and France can use that confusion to their advantage.
3 goals in this series for Alpha. Had a couple or a few against Germany as well in a must-win series to get into this spot. It's still amazing to think that France had to win that series the way they did.
It could be Germany sitting here as well.
Very well could have been. On another day, maybe. But on this day, on France's National Day, it is France 1 win away from the grand final. Of course, a long wait waiting for them. They'll have to wait for a couple of lower round matches with, of course, Norway and Great Britain, and then if they get through here, of course, then it would be the Netherlands waiting for the winner of that series.
Yeah, happy Bastille Day, by the way, to all our French viewers. And I know there's going to be a lot of them because everyone rallies around this French team whenever they take the field. It's always in Twitch chat, oh, when's Vitality playing? When's France playing? Well, they're playing now. I mean, they're doing a damn good job at it too.
It really does feel like after season 7, like they put this team there, actually, especially after season 8, like they put this team together to be Team France, you know? Like, you know, once this Intel World Open kind of started to become a reality, all of a sudden, the best team in Europe is 3 French guys.
Yeah, and I mean, they had Scrub on the team before. Yes, won a World Championship with Scrub and then swapped him out for Alpha. It was a controversial decision, some would say, at the time, and dropping Gregan as the coach as well. But France, they have been on a roll ever since, and they are rolling here in this upper final as well.
There's destiny that this moment would come, perhaps, as K-Dop getting the kind bounce off the crossbar. And again, the Netherlands denied a save right at the edge. Just barely fully crossing the line. Now Oli trying to set up though. Netherlands trying to get back on track, and a shot bounces off the deflection by K-Dop. Again, doing it on both ends of the field now. 5 goals in the series, add another few saves. MVP caliber performance from arguably the best in the world.
We always ask when a team is down like the Netherlands are right now, what can they do to get back into it? The simple answer is just get a shot off, get some goals on the boards. It sounds simple, but when you're up against this French team who've just been lightning in defense, they have been complete money throughout this entire tournament. And Tho, try to pinch that, you've got to work that one a little bit closer to the net, because if you shoot from long range, even a shot going 120 kilometers an hour, there's always going to be a French player there to save it.
Only there to snuff out Alpha's attempt. And now a
Nice
quick
one.
counterattack. Mike Boy couldn't get there in time as Fairy Peak altered the shot. And no further opportunities though. France defensively looks like a mess, but then it's K-Dop at the back.
I told you, every time you're shooting from long range as the Netherlands, France will have a defender in there. We were on K-Dop's camera there, and he seemed a little bit muddled. He didn't look like he was going to get a touch to the ball, but his mechanics are so good, and he was able to recover and get that touch to the side. So if Netherlands want to get this goal to tie it up, they've got to work it closer. Get it off the backboard. Maybe demo a couple of guys. Try something new, because you're falling flat at the last hurdle.
Alpha and Fairy Peak have been kind of falling over each other a little bit in this game, and they were downfield again. They seem to have sorted it out. Now they're all alone at the back. And it'll be Alpha starting the next trek into the Netherlands half of the field. Fairy Peak run into by a teammate from behind it.
I think it was his teammate.
Weird. I mean, it's hard to hit somebody in the air like that and not blow them up if you're an opponent. Fairy Peak, though, backboard, trying to get it down for Alpha and just could not. Netherlands hang around here in a game they absolutely must win, else they drop down to the loser's bracket, only for Tho to tie, and Alpha stuffed it out.
And it's crucial that they are hanging around as well. Still 1 goal in it. Although Fairy Peak would like that to be 2 right there. Only able to clear this down into the orange corner. Now flicking it through. Fairy Peak, a great save. And it just wastes time off this clock even further for the Netherlands. They've got to build from their own back line now.
Mike Boy up high. Oh,
Olé!
he does! 3 seconds to go. The Netherlands have life.
Excellent touch from Tho. You think it's Ole going up for it, but Mike Boy comes from the backside and Ole smashes it in, ties it up. Overtime on the cards.
There will be no shutout in this series against the Netherlands, at least not yet. Now Tho for Ole again, and this time France got there.
Is it going to drop down? Yes, it will. There's a moment there. I make the joke all the time. I write the score down on my sheet. I put 2-1 OT. If that didn't go to overtime, I would have been so upset. But it's going to be heartbreak. 6 seconds into overtime for the Netherlands. They get swept out of the upper bracket. They'll have to wait to see who they face down in the lower side. Will it be GB or will it be Norway? But it's certainly going to be France in the final.
That's incredible. France, after that marathon series yesterday,